Thank you so much for joining. And okay, so we have just one new person joining in, Theran. He has recently joined the Ethereum cat herders and he showed up on the new joiners call. Maybe if Theran, if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Theron Clark. I recently have some more time on my hands, so I wanted to see if I could help out with Ethereum, and so that's where I joined on the last meeting here, and
Nice.
hopefully I can help you guys out some.
Great.
Well, thank you. So Lightline is one of the EIP editors, and generally in this call, he walks us through the current pull request available on EIP GitHub. So without further ado, all over to you, Lightline.
Thank you. Also, congratulations, William, on your new role. It's exciting.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I literally just got to work that there's something I need to do, if you'll work. It's quick though, so I should probably be back within the next 10-15 minutes.
Okay, sweet.
Really sorry about that.
It's all good. There's
Last
also
week, thanks.
another wrinkle in the normal plan because I just realized that my display manager doesn't support screen sharing anymore. So
Wayland?
Yeah.
Excellent. Wayland.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know. It works with Discord. I don't know if that's like too much a wrench in the plan to like switch to Discord today, and then maybe I can figure out something better.
I think we can do that, though I may not be sure that I'll be able to record. I can try doing it with the help of OBS, but
Oof. Yeah.
yeah, we would want to. What do you think, William?
It's either that or I just talk through as I go and you can't see what I'm looking at, which is what people do a lot anyways, but
yeah, that would also make sense. So if you can just let us know the pull request number so we all are on the same page, and then we can probably look at our window.
Okay. I'll
hop out for now and just hop.
All right. Sounds good. And then the final problem is I can't connect to GitHub.
That's pretty interesting.
Is GitHub loading for other people?
It did for me in the morning. I was working on it. Yeah, it's working.
Why? Interesting. I literally cannot even ping Google or GitHub right now. Yet I can connect to Zoom.
So maybe we would want to reschedule this one because I don't know if you are not able to see, even if we are looking at our end, it would not help. So maybe we can do it a question answer session kind of, or we can talk about the pull request that we have been seeing. What do you suggest?
Yeah, maybe we do some question answer. This is weird. It works on my phone when I'm not on the Wi-Fi, but when I connect to my Wi-Fi here, it doesn't connect to GitHub. So clearly something is really, really messed up.
Yeah, not a problem. I see
Damn.
a lot of people have joined today, and most of them are new name. So yeah, people, if you would like to maybe introduce yourself, or if you have looked into GitHub earlier and talk about it, have any question, maybe we can look at the questions if there are any.
Hello, I'm Omar. I thought I'd join this meeting because I saw it was public. I'm here with Marvin. We wrote one of the EIPs, which is still a draft, and we thought it might be nice just to come and see how things go, and also if you ever have any question while you're doing any reviews, so it can be useful.
You mind sharing
Nice.
the number, PR number?
Yes, of course. It's 4671.
Yeah, hello guys. I'm Marvin. I'm with Omar. Nice to meet you, and let us know if we can help in any way.
Awesome. Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you for joining, guys. So I understand 4671, as you mentioned, is a fairly new proposal. It's in the draft status. So do you have any questions per se for that proposal, or any question in terms of documentation that you might be looking helpful?
So I guess I'm not, since well, personally, I'm pretty new to this whole process. I don't know how you usually do things. Maybe you could tell me what exactly do you do in these meetings? Do you review like the shape, like the form of the EIP, and then once it's okay with, you know, EIP 1, like the standard how it should be, then it's reviewed by some other people, or how does it work exactly?
Yeah, for the most part, you know, especially for ERCs, I'm just reviewing to make sure that they fit the EIP 1 requirements.
Okay.
And I'm not as involved in the application layer. So and there's a lot of more ERCs than core EAP. So I don't intend to do like in-depth review of, you know, does this EAP make sense? Like, how does it fit together with other things? I generally hope that by posting the EAP to like Ethereum magicians and other, you know, application developers who care about these things are sort of watching what's happening, sort of kind of come in and actually review the EAP and how it fits with their worldview. So for ERCs, I'm mostly just making sure that they fit with the EAP 1 guidelines. For core EAPs, I tend to do a lot more thorough review. Still the same, like making sure it fits with EAP 1, but also then trying to review the actual meaning of the EAP and what it does. And usually I try and post the review for the actual things that go with the mechanics of the EAP to the Ethereum magicians thread. That way other people can sort of easily find the feedback that's been given.
Okay, understood. Thank you. So like what would determine if an ERC is merged or not?
Basically, as long as it's following the guidelines of EAP 1, it will get merged at some point. I think the one thing that tends to keep an ERC from getting merged is if it's, you know, it tends to be written by like non-native English speakers, and it's like very difficult to understand. There's like numerous grammatical errors. That's really the only types of ERCs that we tend to not merge, just because the quality of like understanding what's happening is low. But generally, as long as it's readable, then and it fits within the guidelines of EAP 1, it will get merged.
Okay, I see. Then like how do you, so any standard basically is accepted? How do you make sure like something of a good quality is merged, and, you know, people are not implementing, like the Ethereum website is not promoting standards that don't really make sense or something like this?
This is kind of one of the, what I would say, issues with the EAPS repository right now is over the last year or two, we've sort of moved away from a little bit more of a restrictive acceptance criteria for EAPS. And now we're sort of allowing anything to come through as long as it meets the basic requirements of being an ERC. And there's like a lot of reasons why. I think the number one reason why is we just don't have enough people who are actually reviewing the ERCs. If we had 5 people who were reviewing ERCs who actually had experience on the application layer and knew what kinds of standards are important and how things fit together, I think we could be a lot stricter on what goes in. But that's just not really the situation that we're in now. And so to avoid gatekeeping people, we tend to just allow anything that fits the mold to go through. And I don't, this isn't my favorite way of doing it, but I think right now it's sort of the best that we have,
Yeah,
which is kind of
exactly.
why we have these calls, is to try and get more people involved in this process so that we can do a better job of providing like quality standards on the EIP's website.
Okay. I see. Thank you for answering these questions.
Sure.
Well, I see in the previous EIP editors internship meeting, we did discuss this pull request, and there were some suggestions added by Matt and later on by Micah on that, and the authors have already responded to it. I see some updates were like a few hours ago. So maybe when Matt or Sam, if you guys have like access and look into it, then this could be further discussed if there is anything else needed to be merged as draft in the first place. In general, the general recommendation for documenting these proposals are available in EIP 1. EIP 1 also contains the template. I'm sure people are making use of that. The template has recently been updated with some of the edits, like earlier we used to have simple summary. We do not have it anymore. We have it as description now. So some minor changes have been introduced in past a few months. So it's highly recommended for new authors to have a look into it. Any more question from anyone, either on EIP process or any specific pull request EIPs? And yes, I would like to make a mention of like a few months ago, Matt Gannett recorded a very good episode in PEEP and EIP about how to actually like document proposals. What are the key things that we should be considering while someone new is trying to document a proposal for Ethereum blockchain. So if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. That's a good one.
Nice, thank you. Do you have a link to this
Yeah,
video
I'll share
in the
it.
documents?
Yeah, I'll share it right away.
Thank you so much.
We can talk ETH Denver if no more questions are there.
Did anybody go to ETH Denver?
Not me, but I'm interested in hearing stories from there.
I'm gonna restart my router really quickly and see if that lets me get onto GitHub. So give me 1 or 2 minutes here.
Yeah, sure. Meanwhile, I'll grab the link.
Hey guys, it's Victor. I didn't go to ETH Denver, but for what it's worth, they do seem to have a lot of content on YouTube. Started watching some of those videos. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I have to that. That's in my to-do.
Do you have?
Sorry, what was that? Was that to me? Hello?
I think Matt is trying to restart his router. Must have been disconnected. I don't know. I think I have shared the link for the EIP editing with Matt Gannett. And I'm sure that that should have some slides. Yeah, the slides that was used in this call is also added as resources, and other resources are obviously EIP1 and EIP GitHub. So it's for new people who would like to follow the changes, recent changes with the process. Talking about the recent changes, one of the changes that we are trying to implement and not 100% successful yet is about the issues section. I see many new people create a discussion to link at Ethereum EIP's GitHub issue section. But we are highly recommending to move the discussion to link to the Fellowship of Ethereum Magicians, because we would like to eventually close the issue, and the magician link is live forever. I mean, it isn't closed because it's a thread. It is live forever. So if you have created a discussion to link here, please create a Fellowship of Ethereum Magician thread for discussing the proposal, getting feedback from implementers and other projects. Welcome, William.
Thanks. What we look.
So unfortunately, Matt.
Right, the screen.
Yeah, and he couldn't access the GitHub as well. So he's trying
Oh
to
boy.
restart
Sweet.
yeah, restart the internet at his end. Maybe it works. In the meanwhile, if you had a chance to look into any of the pull requests, we are trying to take question. We did talk about one pull request 4671 PR 4671, and yeah, if there is anything that you would like to especially bring to the table here.
The only thing. Whoa, there goes my mic bug. The only thing I'm bringing to the table is that like things are a little bit crazy right now. Good reasons. I'm not saying that, but yeah. So I have not been putting in a normal amount. Did you say 4671?
That's right.
Okay, so I'll open that up and take a look.
Yeah, that's an
helpful
ERC. Yeah, that's an ERC.
Would it be helpful?
Please.
Yeah, would it be helpful if I shared my screen?
Yeah, I was thinking that way. I mean, I tried, but yes, I hope Lightline is back. Let's see what is the status there. Oh, he's out again. Yeah,
Okay,
we can go through that.
Wait a second. Now my Zoom is locked. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh man. Oh, you can't hear me. Okay, no, my Zoom my Zoom seems to be freezing up though, so I'm probably going to disappear shortly myself. It tends to be the tradition when something freezes. But I don't know. Still hasn't crashed. Strange. I can't share screen, tell you that much. Maybe.
Oh, I can totally do that. I'm just wondering, because Matt and you and Sam, these are the people who look into these proposals. So if anyone would like to go through it, I'm happy to share screen.
I feel like I've looked at this proposal before. I've also got it up in my browser right now, and by now Zoom is trying to crash on me, so I will be back shortly.
All right, not a problem. Any progress, Matt? Yeah, seems to be a little out of luck today for everyone. I'm happy to share screen. Let me know, William, Matt. So many light client on the screen, so many William on the screen.
I mean, you might as well go for it.
Wow, 3 of him, man. I gotta get that bug. I'm lagging.
Okay, William, I can share and bring it back. So the EIP 4671, which we were discussing earlier, the author has already added the change and left the comment. And luckily, they are also available in this call today.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I feel like I've looked at this one before. So give me a minute while I run through my mic bug a bit, and I'll start taking a look at it. Okay, good. It actually seems to be in a decent range right now. Whew, man. Zoom. And okay, let's look here.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah. I guess also, where are we in terms of recommendations and everything? Like all those been handled?
Recommendation. I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, it's all good. I was
Okay.
just running through the comments real fast to see if there were any comments. But they seem to all be handled. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Okay. Description, author, discussions to status. Okay, requires 165.
Authors, would you mind explaining that term non-tradable token here? I mean, this is something new.
Yes, sure. I'd love that. So the idea of non-tradable tokens, like in very short, that would be tokens that are supposed to represent certificates, like badges, things like university diplomas or proof of achievements. When you do something, some authority might deliver a badge to you or a certificate to prove that you've done that thing. And non-tradable tokens are supposed to represent that thing. And because they are delivered personally to you, since there are certificates, you're not supposed to be able to trade them. So for instance, you don't trade your school diploma, or you don't trade, look, if I take back the example of Vitalik, he was saying you might want to deliver a token or a certificate to someone who has climbed Mount Everest, for instance. You don't want to make that certificate tradable, because when you own the certificate, it stops meaning that you actually done something, but it means that you bought it from someone else. So that's why here the idea is to make tokens that you cannot trade, that you cannot transfer. And so someone, I guess, the denomination here, non-tradable tokens, we found it quite funny because when you spell the acronym, it's NTT, and it looks a bit like NFT, and obviously it's done on purpose, so it kind of reminds you of NFT, but it also has some advantages. The point is, the point of a standard is, the first point is for people to use it, right? If people don't use the standard, it doesn't make sense to have a standard, or at least it's not really useful. And in order for people to use the standard, they must understand it. And so relying on the fact that people already know what NFTs are, and they're already familiar with the concept, having something that is a bit similar, that you can describe that you can describe using NFT concepts, I think it's quite useful. So if someone knew what NFT are, I can simply say to that person, entity is an NFT that you cannot trade, and that person will immediately understand what it basically is. So basically, yeah, that's the idea. It's to have a proof of possession, a proof of achievement on the blockchain, and that is immutable. And you can imagine so many use cases. So for instance, having an identity on the blockchain. So I know some other protocols are working on this, but for instance, if you could have one identity, like one proof that you exist, and you put that on the blockchain, any company, any kind of service could use that identity to then give you rights to, I don't know, voting on their platform, or whatever kind of stuff you can imagine, even universal basic income on the blockchain. All these things are made possible only if you can identify a person. I mean, when I say identify, I don't mean knowing who that person is exactly, but I mean being sure that an address represents a single human person. So if you could deliver a national ID on the blockchain, you could deliver it as a non-tradable token. And once you have that, you can start building on top of it all these crazy ideas. So that would be just one use case. But otherwise, everything that is non-tradable that an authority that an authority delivers to you personally, you can represent it as a non-tradable token. So that's the idea.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, sure. So if you have any questions at all, Marvin and I are more than glad to answer.
Cool.
One other use case, for instance, is everything related to background verification. So when you enter in a new company, you might have some other external company hired to make your background verification to see where you come from, what national IDs you have, what school diplomas you have, if you have a driving license, and this kind of stuff. In my case, when I was hired by Google, there was a company called Higher Rights, and they did all that stuff. And so they literally called my university to ask them, did Omar go to this school, and did he went through this cursus and took this major and whatever. And so they actually had to call the school and call all the different authorities who delivered a diploma, who delivered me a diploma, and ask them if I actually did have these things and did do these things, right? And all this wouldn't be necessary if the authorities in question could, publish a non-tradable token and assign it to you on the blockchain. Then the company who wants to hire you, and this is just, I'm talking about companies and stuff here, but it could be any kind of thing. It could be like a social media platform, whatever. Whenever you want to prove to someone that you've actually done something, if the authority has delivered a non-tradable token to you, then you can just prove it very easily, and it can be automated and everything else. So that's why it's very important that it's not tradable, because if it starts being tradable, it doesn't mean that you've done something anymore. It just means, it could mean that you've done something, but it could also mean that you've bought the token from someone, or something like this.
That's a pretty interesting idea. I'm aware of some of the projects like that, a block cert or something. Even I tried to do it sometimes back. Like my team was trying to do it, something like that, but it would be good to have a standard around it. I'm not sure what are the other thoughts, but definitely this is a good proposal in my understanding, and we can maybe further talk about it in one of the PEEP meetings to have an overview of this proposal so people are aware of what we are trying to propose here.
Okay.
One of my questions about this is, it feels like there's two things at odds here. Like, one, you want to have the ability of like not being able to transfer these credentials to anybody else, but that sort of enforces that you have this really rigid system that doesn't allow for people to change, to use different wallets or lose their wallets. And I feel like a robust system for credentials needs to have the ability to allow people to migrate to a new wallet, or if they lose a wallet, update this. So how do you plan to deal with those scenarios?
It's true. So we've thought about this, and the thing is, if you ever allow the token to be transferred, if you want some backup system to be able to transfer the token from one wallet to another, because you own both of the wallets, and even if you could always send a signed message from one of the two wallets and do like some kind of trick to be able to verify that you own the other wallet and then transfer the token. But then when you start doing things like that, you could always imagine ways in which, well, you can transfer the token to anyone if that person is willing to give you the right information. But this whole thing actually fits into maybe a larger problematic, and that is, how do you do the link between an Ethereum address and the real person, an actual person in the real world? Like, how do you know that address actually belongs to that person and not someone else? But yeah, so the idea was to just get rid of the headaches in this case, and disallow the transfer. In a way, it's a bit like having an actual wallet. If you have a wallet in your pocket and you drop it, well, you kind of lose everything. It's sad, but it's true. You lose your identity card and everything like that. And if you want a new identity card, you would just ask the state to deliver a new card. And so they would invalidate the old card. And so that's why there is this idea of invalidating tokens in the standard, because it could be useful in multiple ways. That this one that I just described is one way. Another way could be, well, since the authority delivers the certificate, they're also in right to, invalidated if they learn at some point that you've done something wrong, or that you haven't actually earned that certificate. So you could imagine driving licenses, if you lose your driving license, it doesn't actually disappear, but it's just invalidated. It's just a flag and it's set. So yeah, I agree. You don't really, like, if you lose your wallet, well, you're kind of screwed, but that's also how it happens in real life. So, that's how we thought about it. It's not the perfect, the perfect solution, of course, but in order to prevent tokens from being transferred to a person that hasn't actually done the thing for which the token was delivered, that's the only way, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analogy. I think like the only thing I would say maybe in response to that would be, sure, if you lose your wallet, you would need to go and ask the authority for the credentials again. But like the way I'm understanding is that there could potentially be a lot of credentials that you're linking to your identity, and you don't carry these credentials around frequently, right? And so, if I lose my wallet, I might just lose my driver's license, or if I lose my crypto wallet, I might lose my driver's license, my college degree, any kind of like certifications I've got.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
But I guess then again, like,
well, hang on.
Going to a
So,
cold wallet that I don't carry around on a regular basis.
So like if you can't transfer them and like losing your wallet, like what's the harm in losing your wallet? Just that you can't sign a message saying that that's coming from the account with those credentials, like.
Yeah, but that would potentially be big. No, I mean, the cop's not going to ask you, like, show me MetaMask. They're going to ask sign the thing saying that you actually own this license, that you drive this car. No?
Yeah, I suppose it's just, yeah.
Trying to figure out which dystopic future we're aiming for, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Just make it make it a tradable token, but also put your picture on it, so it's literally just like a driver's license. Sure, you can hand it to your friend, but it's not useful for them.
I wonder also if something like this should stop it from getting merged, though, because like even though I think if there should be transferability or something like that is a valid concern, I think at least merging it as draft is valid at this point.
Yeah, I agree. The main thing that's stopping me from doing that is my inability of accessing the website github.com.
Excellent. The internet. Slack is down apparently, incidentally, but I can actually get it again.
I can get to GitHub over my cell service, but my internet here at my house, every other website is working besides Slack and GitHub.
Well, Slack the rest of the world too, so yeah.
Okay, nice.
Pretty cool. At least we have one EIP's looked into, and that seems to be getting general consensus to be merged as draft.
Nice. Thank you.
And I do think that that should be a central part of the discussion around this now, though, like maybe even including, like, I see that you've put in a ton of variants there. So having a variant where maybe a council can transfer to a new address might be worthwhile, or at least making some kind of caveat that it doesn't break the standard if one of these is actually somewhat transferable. The idea is that they're not really supposed to move under normal circumstances.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. We could add like an extension, as they're called.
So in addition, yeah, please go ahead, William.
No, I didn't have anything to say there. I was just saying, okay.
Right. So in the essence of time, I was just trying to share some more information with the people who may be new. So in addition to this call, we also have a call EIP IP meeting where we have other editors joining in and talking about any issue or any roadblocker in particular. So glad that we resolved the thing here in this call for this particular proposal. But in case if there is something that you would like to raise that can be of general concern, could be addressed in the EIP IP meeting.
Okay, thank you very much for the information.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, I have a question in mind right now. In the EIPs, do you merge implementations and not only like interfaces? Like if let's say we want to, I mean, okay, let me tell you actually what I'm thinking. So another way to implement this non-tradable token idea is to take the NFT standard and make one particular implementation of that, that disables the transfer function, for instance, and we add a whole bunch of other functions that we want, ones that are in this standard in EIP 4671. And we would basically end up with the same thing, except that we wouldn't have an interface. We would have like an one implementation of ERC 721, and people would extend or implement that class, that specific implementation, rather than implementing the interface. So from your perspective, does that work usually, or how do you see this situation?
I tend to prefer that the interfaces are defined and people are free to implement the interface and whatever they want. And so maybe that means you have a reference implementation where you actually have implemented it and this could be used by people, but I wouldn't want to say that, you have to use this implementation to be up to spec on this EIP. And I think like one of the reasons why is that, depending on the version of Solidity used, depending on if you use Solidity or another smart contract language, you should still be able to say you support an ERC, even if the actual machinery beneath the interface is slightly different.
Okay, yeah.
So people might want to go in and have a more efficient implementation. Like I think ERC 721 and ERC 20, there are many implementations and some are more efficient than others. And so I could imagine something similar for your ERC. People could start out using the reference implementation, but over time, maybe there's more desire for efficient ones and somebody could come in and write one in assembly or something. As long as it supports the interface you define, that should be considered valid, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's a cool perspective. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Any more question for today?
I don't have any. Still trying to reach Recmo.
For 712?
712. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that is a good one. That needs to be pushed.
Yeah, I see that there is another PR open with someone who did seem to catch a little bit of a mistake there, but that'll also need Recmo. So I'm tempted to just push it into the 712 to last call one that I've got going and attribute. But yeah.
All right. I think I have a question here. I'm looking into PR 4751 that seems to be just moving from review to the last call. Yeah,
Oh, 46,
But-
26, yeah.
yeah, but I'm not sure why there is no end date for this review period. There should be, right?
For last call, let me take a look.
Yes,
One sec.
yes. I think that field is missing. Probably we would want to add that. And then my question here was like, this is
Yeah,
proposed by
sure.
the author itself. So it needs to be merged by EIP editor, right? And it cannot be auto merged. Yeah, I think that there is one field missing. We can probably suggest them.
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Thanks.
Give me a second. It's last call deadline, right?
Right.
And it's year, month, day.
14 plus from whatever day.
So that would be the 8th of March. So 2022-03. What did I just say? 8? Oh, wait.
March.
Oh, wait. Yeah, so 2022-03-08. That makes sense. Hope so.
Okay. Last call for anyone has any final question, comment for today. Otherwise, we can maybe end the meeting early because we are not getting access to get her to look into all the proposals. Okay, I think it makes sense that we reconvene next, not next week, 2 weeks from now for this call. And I hope by then we would look into more proposals. As of now, we can see there are over 60 pull requests. Yeah, we have like what? Total pull request? 63 or 5. Why I can't see the number anymore? Doesn't it show? Yeah, it does. 65. So we have like 65 open pull requests, and most of them have already received at least initial comment from the editors. So we will look into these proposals next time, or in the meantime, from today till the next meeting, if EIP editors get time to look into the proposals, maybe some of them will be merged. And all those proposals which are merged and have some major changes, either in terms of a status or in terms of sometimes category and type, those are all listed in EIP's insight that we publish every month. So people can also refer that for some information related to EIPs. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I know it was an interesting question answer session, not the usual way, but at least we made good use of that time that we had today. Any final?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any final
Thanks,
comments
everyone.
from anyone? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Sorry
Thanks,
about
Lakshmi.
the technical issues.
I
figure
hope you
out-
feel better soon, Matt. I know, I mean, like,
Thanks.
it's not just the technical issues, a lot of things combined together.
Yeah, this is big L's today.
Oh, man.
Was a different day. Not a problem. We'll have better days. Thank you
Yep.
so much, everyone, for joining. Have a good one, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, cheers.